Shipping is the most effective and cost-efficient mode of transportation. Today, over 90% of the global trade is carried by sea. Shipping provides the most reliable, safe, and secure option for the movement of the goods. As an international industry, it is also a dangerous occupation. Therefore, its effective operation requires regulation and standards agreed, adopted, and implemented on an international basis. For this reason, the need for an international agency for shipping was always apparent. However, it was not until the establishment of the United Nations itself that a permanent organization body was created. That body being the International Maritime Organization, the IMO.
Following the sinking of the Titanic, SOLAS, one of the most important ship safety treaties today, was adopted in London. Then, in 1948, after the founding of the United Nations, the International Maritime Organization was born to deal with shipping matters. Shipping was changing rapidly, and the first container ships were soon trading. 10 years later, the 21st country ratified the IMO Convention, triggering its entry into force on 17 March 1958. Many new treaties and codes followed, making shipping safer, simpler, and standardized.
In 2018, the IMO counts 173 member states and 3 associate members, Faroes, Hong Kong, and Macau. These countries represent all regions of the world. The IMO Convention 1948 establishes that all states are eligible to become members of the organization. United Nations members are allowed to become members of the organization by joining as a party to the IMO Convention 1948. Countries which are not members of the United Nations can also obtain the membership.
Partnership for Development. The IMO headquarters are located in a huge building in Lambeth, London, since 1982 and was officially opened by Queen Elizabeth II in 1983.
The IMO governing body, the Assembly, meets once every 2 years. Between sessions, the Council, consisting of 40-member governments elected by the Assembly, acts as IMO's governing body.
The IMO has promoted the adoption of some 50 conventions and protocols and adopted more than 1,000 codes and recommendations concerning maritime safety and security, the prevention of pollution, and related matters. Moreover, the organization supports new initiatives to promote sustainable maritime development and plays a central role in facilitating international cooperation. The IMO has also adopted recommendations dealing with a wide range of subjects and has helped develop or improve maritime training academies in many countries around the world.
One of the IMO members' interests is the conflict between the interest of port and flag states. However, a country may be a port state while simultaneously being a flag state. This is true for flag of convenience countries. In 2011, 69.7% of the total global merchant fleet operated under FOC. Under international law, an owner has full liberty to choose the flag for his ship or her ship. Consequently, every state has the right to set its own regulation and standards for registration of ships. The IMO doesn't possess neither direct powers or executive powers. Its powers are primarily derived from the Convention and other international agreements, as well as the consent of the states parties concerned.
In conclusion, the gradual expansion of the IMO's role is noticeable from its historical development. This trend is likely to continue depending on the growing number of shipping issues that the IMO has been asked to address. The IMO has created and improved very effective instruments over the last years and successfully met the demands of the coastal and flag states.
The expression flags of convenience dates back to the end of the First World War. when certain non-traditional maritime countries, especially Panama, Liberia, and Honduras, started to register foreign-owned vessels under the flags for economic reasons and exercise minimal control over them.
For example, this ship is registered in Panama, but is owned by a Japanese company, so it flies an FOC. Its registered owners and managers are in Singapore. It's operated from Thailand, classified in Japan, and insured in London. Its crews are from the Philippines and Indonesia. 70% of the world's shipping fleet is registered under flags of convenience, or is flagged out.
Flags of convenience have been defined as the flag of any country, allowing the registration of foreign-owned and foreign-controlled vessels under conditions which, for whatever reasons, are convenient and opportune for the people who are registering the vessels. In the earlier years, the three flag of convenience countries were Panama, Liberia, and Honduras. In the next 50 or so years, more than 30 other countries, such as the Marshall Islands, have offered their registry and flags to any willing ship owner.
In 1958, a group of nations desiring to set up the rules of international law as related to the high seas adopted a set of provisions. One of them was that any country should have access to the sea and should be able to have jurisdictional control over its own ships. Thus, the process of registering and flagging ships was born.
Today, the main providers of flags of convenience are Panama, Liberia, and the Marshall Islands, which together provide 45% of all convenience flags. Convenience is a fictional nationality which usually allows the ship owner not to be compliant with his own country's legislation, to pay less or even no tax, and deal with his crew without all the constraints of labour law.
Why flags of convenience? Because entrepreneurs of developed countries were seeking to avoid the strict regulations of those developed countries. The main reasons for those seeking shelter under flags of convenience are easy registration of maritime vessels, lower taxes, reduced operating expenses, and freedom of control by the country of registry.
The use of foreign flags of convenience has some negative consequences. One of them is that many national fleets have disappeared, such as the US-owned and US-flagged merchant fleet. Another one is that as a result of the mandates of registering conditions, entrepreneurs started seeking crews from less developed countries where labor was cheaper and registering a ship was easier. Finally, over the past few years, flags of convenience vessels have been associated with many of the marine accidents that have seriously polluted the seas.
To solve these problems, we can consider the next possible solutions. One of them could be the removal of all rigs from the definition of ships within international law, since they pose greater risks.
Flags of convenience pose a difficult problem in regulating and ensuring the safety of international waters. As we have seen, nowadays, the system of registering ships does not work as intended. And in order to avoid a future crisis, a solution must be implemented.